I'm Will Carr, and I'm here to fire you up. What is up, everybody? I'm Will Carr. This is the Will Carr Speaks podcast. I'm excited to have Benjamin Duffy with me on the show today. It's gonna be fun to see where this conversation goes. We have no idea what we're going to talk about, man. We're just gonna get into this, have fun, and see where spirit and life takes us in general as we have this conversation. So to get going, I mean, can you just introduce yourself a little? Tell me what's exciting about you.
I can introduce myself. So again, my name is Ben Duffy. I'm a licensed therapist in the state of Colorado. So that's, cool. I just got my master's degree in May. And so now I have my own private practice. I'm seeing clients one-on-ones, doing groups. I'm also I'll just call myself a coach, even though, I also use the title Liberation Guide because that's of what it is. It's less coaching. It's more we're getting into the coding of experience from the lens of Buddhism to understand how am I tormenting myself in my mind by creating certain beliefs, narratives, and assumptions that limit me, hold me back, that make me hate myself, that make me think I'm less than other people. And how do we get rid of that shit, really? Yeah. And replace it with narratives, beliefs, and assumptions that invoke confidence, empowerment, strength, connection to me, the world, the natural world, other people, the divine, all those things. We can start to, again, understand the architecture of our perception. Yeah. And that's why I call it really existential liberation guidance, because at the level of existence, we're freeing ourselves. Yeah. And so that's sort of what I'm teaching too. My website's about to drop. Really excited about that. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and it's been a really interesting path for me up to this point also. And I also model. So I don't know if Yvel told me, but I've modeled like a few times just off of Instagram. I started making these reels, and like a photographer hit me up and was like, "Have you ever considered modeling?" And I was like, "No, but I'll give it a try." Did that last summer, and then hadn't heard from the guy for basically a year. He hits me up. He's like, "Hey, just so you know, I started shooting for Playgirl and they really like you. Would you ever, model nude for Playgirl?" And I was like, "For Playgirl? Yeah." So long story short, I ended up on the cover of Playgirl, my second time modeling. So that door kind of opened, which is interesting. And there's different developments in that area, which are, exciting and interesting. But honestly, my heart and my passion is in existential liberation. Yeah. Clearly, it seems like the way. So that's sort of who I am. That's sort of what gets me off. Other things that get me off are just betterment. You could say biohacking, human optimization. Yeah. I like feeling good. Yeah. And that includes pushing my body. Exactly. So, sauna, cold plunge. I do big runs. I just got into running ultra marathons. Cool. I go, put in work in the gym, love meditating, and just honestly trying to find how do we make this brief window between birth and death as optimal as possible? Like, how do we do that? And it's an open question for me. I still actually don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think the answer to that really is different for everybody. Yeah. The only person that can answer that is you. Like you and anybody out there watching, the only person that can answer that is for you yourself. What is it that motivates you? What is it that makes you tick? What is it that makes you excited to get up in the morning and love your life? I'm curious, you talked about your journey that brought you into this and your journey that led you into being a counselor. Yep. And get into this liberation. I love that because liberation is all about freedom, man. And
exactly,
if we can free our conscience, free our souls to be able to just love ourselves and be ourselves and live that life that we're talking about that only we can answer for ourselves. Yeah. That is the truest freedom. Yeah. So tell me what led you down that path to become a counselor and to get into this stuff? I feel like there's probably some stuff there.
Oh, there's lots of stuff there. So, first, I would say pain, suffering, darkness, confusion, hating myself, the classic bullshit we tend to experience in life, especially early in life. So I guess I could get into specifics. So, we'll just lay it out. So I experienced emotional, I never called it trauma, but after grad school, like for psychotherapy, I was like, oh, this is definitely traumatic in the sense of it was something that kind of stuck with me for quite a while. And it was my relationship to my mom. Like when I was probably like 14 or 15, she was just run so thin. And the way I see it now is like it's sort of related to a product of patriarchy. My dad worked 3 jobs. He was a MD resident doctor. He had his own business, and he was a professor at the University of Rochester, working. Every time I would come home, he'd be working until like 10 or 11 at night. He'd be gone by the time I woke up in the morning. And so my mom was left to also work full time as a psychiatrist and also take us to karate, take us to music lessons, take us to sports, cook and clean. And so, dude, I just think that poor woman at that time, got worn so thin and had this belief in her mind, this limiting belief, this belief that caused torment. It's like, oh, you have to be the perfect mom,
right,
or else. So it led to, I mean, again, I haven't talked to her explicitly about this. We've kind of brushed on it a little bit, but these big outbursts.
Yeah.
So they all live in New York. I live out here in Colorado. Okay. So I only see them like maybe once a year, twice a year, maybe.
Okay.
But she would have these crazy outbursts where she would like scream at me and my brothers. And like at this point it's okay. I've made my peace with it.
Yeah.
And we have such a great relationship at this point.
Yeah.
But like she would yell at us, scream at us until my dog was like trembling under the kitchen table. So, and I would be like, what do we do? Mom's pulling in the driveway and me and my brother would be watching like ESPN and we'd be like, fuck, well, like, do we go downstairs? Do we go outside? Like, are we about to get like chewed out right now? So it was like this scary thing. Yeah. It was like made home not feel safe, I guess. It was
your parasympathetic nervous system was never at ease.
Exactly. So that was with my mom. And then my older brother, God bless him. Like I love him too, but like he was just so much bullying. Yeah. Of like no one loves you, you're ugly, you're fat, you're just like you have no friends.
He was being bullied.
Dude, I haven't talked to him about that. I need to. I just need to bring up these hard conversations because like I've come to my own peace with it. I was forced to, but I haven't we need to lay it out there as a family. Yeah. And I see that. And I had a class in grad school about family therapy. Yeah. It's like the healing that can come from, hey, like, none of us are perfect. We're all living in these trauma loops, these trauma patterns until we can face them and heal them. And especially as a family, can we come together and face that? And be better because of it. So that's on the to-do list. Again, I live in Colorado. They live in New York. And I love them all. I do. And I wish it wasn't. Well, part of me says I wish I wasn't like that. But interestingly, I see that darkness now as like a blessing, actually. Yeah. It was so painful. And like, I hated myself. Like, I was convinced no one, like, I just felt so separate from everybody.
Right.
Like, I could not speak to girls. I was so scared. And like, I'm pretty. I've always been in good shape, and like it would always throw people off. Like how I like couldn't make eye contact, I would just avoid that connection because it was too scary for me.
Go from not being able to speak to girls to being on the cover of Playgirl.
Bro, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make that's what I'm saying.
180.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So then, so let me tell you how I got there. And it's I went through these big openings when I first moved to Colorado. I went to Ithaca College in upstate New York, same town as Cornell, hippie, cool town. And then I transferred out to Colorado State up in Fort Collins. And still had all of this kind of just trauma just lurking in me, just like I would say a lot of people do. Yeah. These shitty beliefs, this like nagging voice, oh, you're never enough, you're just going to fail. Why would you ever talk to that girl? You're just going to mess it up type shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it was haunting me. And I was trying to find any way out. And it was exercise. Yeah. It was, breath work. It was psychedelics, mushrooms, save me, please. LSD, please. And like, they have a really effective ability to, for me, it seems like to get your head above water. Yeah. Like, oh my God, I can look around when I'm like really in this transcendent loose state on like psilocybin mushrooms, for instance. I'm like, damn, I didn't know it could be this good. Yeah. And then you come back to your grounded reality. You still have the same trauma. You still have the same unresolved demons, really. And so that happened throughout my life, where I would have these big openings. Like in the summer, I'd go, camping and mountain biking, trail run, go to music festivals up, around here. And I would feel so open and connected to myself, so at peace, so connected with other people. And then winter would come and I would just be very internal. Yeah. And forced to see these parts of me that I still hated. Yeah. And like, how do I hold that? I didn't know still. I still didn't know. Yeah. So that led me into these really dark periods of depression where I was like, dude, I couldn't get out of bed. I was sleeping like 16 hours a day. I almost didn't graduate undergrad because I couldn't go to class. I like had no motivation. I was like, what's the fucking point? I stopped going to the gym, stopped hanging out with my friends. And that's the thing. I couldn't look people in the eye. It's and they would speak to me, like just random people, like at a gas station. I was so dissociated because I hated myself so much that I didn't even hear what they said. and they'd have to like tell me again. So again, people see me today and think, oh, he's always been like this, cute, good looking white dude, always been like this. But at the same time, like that's where it's essential for me to tell my story. Like I've been fucked in my mind and my world's been really dark to the point where I'm like, hey, wouldn't it just be a lot easier if this could like, I don't know, end? And that's what took me to actually traveling to Asia. Okay. So I rode a mountain bike because I was just so suffering so hard. I was like, I need something dramatic. Yeah. Something changed me. If this is it, I'm over it. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go on an adventure. So I saved up like a couple $1,000s. And after I graduated undergrad, I went to Vietnam, rode a bike across the whole country. And I don't even bike like that. It was just like, I just want to do something crazy. Yeah. And it was sick. And all my friends are like, dude, I'm so jealous of you. It looks so cool. And I was still kind of depressed, like really depressed. And I was like, dude, I can't even enjoy this. Yeah. Like everyone's thinking this is so dope. And I'm like, dude, I still hate my life at this point. Like I legitimately hate it. I don't want to be here. Yeah. And
such a good example, man, of loving your life is not about necessarily what you're doing. Like the external, you can be anything. I mean, fill in the blank, whatever anyone's dreams are, fill in the blank with that dream. You can be living that. That doesn't mean you're happy internally.
Dude, exactly. And that's the thing where I learned firsthand, it's not about what's outside of me. It's not about the money, the experiences, the people even necessarily. It's about what I've cultivated internally. If I've just cultivated hate for myself and that this is not enough, bro, I could be given the entire world and it wouldn't be enough.
You'd still hate yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So this recognition dawned on me. He's like, oh shit, this is all inside me. Yeah. How do I figure this out? And this is right as COVID was happening in 2020. So I was like, okay, Vietnam's like actually kicked me out of the country. They're like, all the white people have to leave. So I was like, okay, where am I going to go?
Get out of here.
And I was like, well, people tend to go to India to solve this whole suffering situation. Yeah. So I went straight to India, took a bus from Delhi up to Rishikesh, one of the holy cities up there, and like basically went straight into this week-long retreat for meditation and yoga. I'd never done anything like that. And while I was there,
is this something you just showed up to? Yeah. Or was it something you like got online and found and signed up for?
Yep. I got online. So I was like, I want to like learn about yoga and meditation. And there was like an ashram again in the foothills of the Himalayas on the Ganges River. Crazy beautiful location. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do it. I have no choice. Yeah. Everything's fucked still in my mind. So I went there, and within a couple of days of being at this ashram, the whole country goes on lockdown. So we can't leave. Like again, police are like beating people that are outside of curfew. So we're like, well, I guess we're at this ashram. It's me and like again 20 Westerners and a bunch of like Indians. So living at this ashram. It's a functional Shiva ashram. So they would do like fire pujas every night. They would do meditation early as hell in the morning. Eating all Ayurvedic food, and it was so serendipitous. Where creation just sat me down. It's like, you want to find something? Yeah. Stop looking. The world's going to be crumbling, and you're going to be at this ashram. What do you do? And for me, I still hated myself. I was like, I'm not leaving until I find this thing called enlightenment. Yeah. Like I'm tenacious like that. So I'm like, I'm not accepting anything else. Like right before I left, my girlfriend of 4 years broke up with me because I was so depressed because I couldn't take care of her, show up for her. I couldn't take care of myself. Like I got my degree in environmental science and realized if I want to work in environmental science, I'm going to be on a computer all day. Yeah. And I was like, dude, this is not what I want. What the fuck am I going to do? And it was just like so much resistance to my life, to my experience, to who I was. And eventually something in me broke. Yeah. And it broke open. It was like, fuck it. I can't keep hating myself. I don't have the energy for this. Fuck it. However I am, if I can't look people in the eye, if I have to work at a gas station the rest of my life, if I'm a loser the rest of my life, fuck it. It is what it is. And it was that started this really radical shift in me.
Because it gives you the freedom to just be yourself. Yeah. When you're not feeling like you externally have to be anything, when you're not feeling like you have to put on a show or put on some type of facade or look a certain way, be a certain way, appear a certain way, you can just be you. You can just be the person that you want to be. Dude. And that's the freedom, man. Exactly. That's where the freedom comes. Just what is it that drives you and makes you excited when you wake up in the morning? Totally. It is that simple.
Totally. And for me, it was actually, I found it was the rejection of my pain that actually was causing me to be so closed off. I could
rather than just accepting it.
Exactly. I couldn't accept the fact that my life wasn't what I wished it was sometimes. Yeah. And I think that's huge for people. It's like we have this resistance that says if your life isn't what you think, what you want it to be, resist, push in the other direction, try to fix it. And there's a beauty in that, but also like I couldn't resist it anymore.
Yeah.
I had to recognize, I feel like my life fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And everyone, again, from the outside looking in is like, dude, you're killing it. You just got your grad degree, your undergrad degree. You're in India. Like, you're so cool. And I'm like, dude, nah, it doesn't feel like that. And even though everyone else had this different experience of me, I had to own mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to own the fact that I fucking hate myself. And it's like, and that's so paradoxical. It seems like the last thing you have to do is accept the fact that you hate yourself.
Yeah.
And that is, it reminds me of Dante's Inferno, where the way you get out of hell is you crawl through Satan's mouth.
Yeah.
It's the last place you want to go, but actually that's the only way out.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's darkest before the dawn, right?
Yeah.
And I say, you know, a lot of what you just said, I say it in a different way is when you can come to the point in your life where the darkest things, the worst things, the things that you would typically look at as this sucked, this was unfair, this wasn't fun, this why did this happen to me? When you can look at those things, the seemingly traumatic things, the things that hurt you the most, and come to this point where that's what you're most grateful for. Yes. That's the secret, man.
Yes, it
is.
And
it really doesn't matter. Like, some people have to go to a really dark place to find that.
Yep.
And then there's people, you know, that can like fail a college exam, and that's as deep as they ever need to go.
It's true, bro. It's true.
It's like that's where they found their bottom there. But some of us have to go and have these crazy experiences that in our mind, at least, because I think it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of our experiences.
Yeah.
We have to be able to see them and understand, like, whoa, you know, I need to shift this.
Yeah.
This needs to be my springboard.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how anything looks externally. Mm-hmm. It's all about how we can perceive things internally. Yeah. And then therefore grow from that. Exactly. And use that as the point to which that's our breaking point. That's where we turn. And then you see that as that's what I'm most grateful for. Like, I think of the hardest things in my life that I've experienced. Yeah. Those have ultimately brought me the most joy and ultimately brought me the most rewarding things that have happened in my life, because I was able to grow from that. I was able to change from that. It took me hitting that rock bottom in that moment, and maybe several rock bottoms, right, to be able to make that shift. Yeah. But if those things hadn't happened, I wouldn't have ever made that shift. I just continued to go along the same path that I was already on.
And so well said. You already get it. Like you said, the crux of it is, can we see our trauma, our pain in the past, all that darkness as actually a gift? Mm-hmm. And again, that's how we start to shift the relationship to our own story, to our own lives, where I'm not a victim anymore. Yeah. I say thank you. And gratitude goes directly at that darkness. Yeah. Because it's like, it pushes, it's so unique. Would I be who I am without that darkness? And I will say with confidence, no, I wouldn't. Yep. And I'm so thankful to be me. That's a valid question you have to ask yourself too, is, are you thankful to be who you are right now? And if so, look at all that darkness in the past, and you got to say thank you to that. 100%. And it's like, I look at it, I made a little reel about this the other day, but it's like, the darkness, the pain, the trauma, once we have alchemized that and integrated that, I see that as a direct gift from the angels. 100%. And yet when we're given those gifts of pain and darkness, we're like,
don't feel like
why
gifts
me?
At the time.
Exactly. And then like years later, you're like, thank you. And that's when you have really integrated, accepted, and learned how to let go into that pain and that darkness, and how it sort of chisels you into who you're meant to become. Yeah. And
I think an interesting paradox. I was thinking about this the other day. You know, we talk about the darkness for ourselves within and how we're trying to grow. But one thing I've also found is I have this overarching belief in just the greatness of humanity. Like, I believe that I want to say everyone. Yeah. The purest in me does. Yeah. But I would at least say 99% of people are very good at their core. Right. You know, like it's sometimes hard to think, and maybe someday I'll get to a point where I really do believe that at everybody's core, 100% of people are good. Yeah. Yeah. But what I've also noticed is that, you know, we talk about finding that love for our own experiences, but it's also, because we all have those people in our life who it's like we see them as the villain. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And we see them as the person, oh, they did this to us. They hurt us in this way. I need to, you know, they are toxic, or they are whatever. Coming to a place where you can see those people as also amazing human beings.
Yeah.
That were giving you that gift of trauma in that moment.
Yeah.
Like I needed someone to be mean. I needed someone to come at me in a bad way. I needed someone to attack me. I needed someone to paint me. I needed someone to, and because there's a flip side of that too. I needed someone to paint me as a villain. Yeah. And maybe sometimes I know myself to be a good man. I know myself to be a solid human being. But there are people that, and because we've all made mistakes, right? I've done things that like I wouldn't be proud of in certain situations. So in other people's mind, because that's part of my growing experience, haven't been Jesus my whole life. They, as in part of that, in their mind, I'm existing as this person that did something bad. I'm the villain in their story. Yeah. And so understanding that sort of paradox, it's like, I might see someone and in the past, I might've been like, oh, they were so bad. They're a bad person. They did something. I'm like, no, they're a great person who's also just trying to find transcendence. Yeah. And sure, they played the villain in my story for a certain time. I needed them to do that. And so then on the flip, I try to have grace for myself. I am a great man. Have I done things that weren't great man's, actions? Sure. In some roundabout way, I needed to be that villain for that person to help their growth. And that's not an excuse to go out and and be an asshole. But I can, because in the future, I don't want to have to be that for anyone ever again. That's the goal. That's the goal. But through our growing experience and through our growth in our journey, I had to be that for people at certain times. So I have grace for myself in those. And then that's how I can forgive myself. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, Will, you're a bad person because you did X, Y, Z and 5 years ago, or even yesterday. Right. It's like, I know that I can grow from that and see how I can be better from that. I needed to be that in that situation, or someone needed to be that for me.
Totally. And I would love to give like a example of that from my life.
Yeah, please.
Because it's so true. And it's like, it's again, like you said, you got to keep refining yourself. Like I can always be better. But for me, it's like, I have to hit the boundaries in life, in my own values and my ethics to know where they are. Yeah. And I hit that boundary. I'm like, fuck, that doesn't feel good. I'm not going to do that again. Yep. And it's like, okay, great. So my example, which is relatively recently, is actually just in relationship. So I'm single and I've been sort of playing the field, and one of my or somebody that I know, we had like an intimate fling, and it turned into this situation where she just fell for me. And the whole time I'm feeling like I'm in my integrity, being like, hey, it's not going to be like that. I don't want like anything deeply committed and monogamous. Like, are you cool with that? And she would be like, yeah, I'm cool with that. But then it got to this point where I was seeing other ladies, like I said that I would, and it was like really painful for her. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so I feel like I was in my integrity. Do I want that to happen? Of course not. I was like, but what do I do? I like hanging out with them. Like, we can be intimate together and have fun, but it's like, it's not going to be, that depth, that commitment. And I was clear about that. I didn't feel any sort of deceit in my heart. Right. But at the same time, it led to her getting hurt. Yeah. And I see myself now, and it's because I've been in a similar position in my own past, roles reversed, where now I'm like, oh, what did that experience in my life teach me when that happened earlier in my life? When I fell for somebody who didn't actually have feelings for me like that, is it showed me, oh, be careful with who you give your heart to. Yeah. Don't just do it because it feels good. Do it because you trust them and you trust where it's going to go and you trust the connection. Yeah. And so it's like, I hate to, like, that's the thing. It doesn't, like, do I wish that I was more direct in being like, hey, I don't like you the way that you like me. It's a hard thing to say to somebody that you do care about to some degree. But it's like, in hindsight, I learned, I need to be more direct actually. And maybe they learned, I hope that it was like, also don't externalize your value. Don't externalize love. Even if you really want me, I'm curious, like, are you trying to find that validation from me? Are you trying, like, because I like you, it means you're enough. Because you're loved. What if you could give that to yourself?
Yeah.
How would we relate to intimate relationships if we knew how to love all parts of us? Because I see a lot of people looking for somebody else to complete them.
Exactly.
Can you love me in the ways that I can't?
Yes.
And it's like, what if we could love ourselves in all those ways? Would we ever settle for any toxic dynamic, any codependent dynamic? Would we ever settle for anything less than what's absolutely perfect for us? Yeah. And I don't think we would.
No.
And that's the thing. This is another product of like really internal work. Is like, what can I not hold in myself?
Yeah.
Is it that thing that happened in, 5th grade? Is it the fact that I still feel like I'm not enough, that everyone else is better than me? I don't measure up. Everyone else is prettier, more successful. Hold that. And when I say hold it, exactly as it is. Feel that feeling of I'm not good enough. And let it be there.
Love it.
Love it to death. It's so paradoxical. It's like, it's the last thing you want to do, but that is this like alchemical transformation in your mind. Where all of a sudden when I realize I can hold anything that's coming through me, I'm not afraid.
No.
I'm not. I'm in this fearlessness. And that's something that can be taught. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't just happen. It's a practice.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to give to people, because it changed everything I am from being this guy that could not make eye contact with people, that could not talk to girls, to now I'm on the cover of Playgirl and I feel so confident in myself, and it's not even weird. Like, I don't feel that charge when I'm going up to girls unless they're really fine. Then like, you know what I mean? But it's just a matter of practice.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And stepping into that. And can I hold that anxiety in my heart when I'm like, oh, is this pretty girl going to reject me? I don't know. Or like stepping into, more responsibility in my career.
Yeah.
Can I hold that? What if I fuck it up? Can I hold that?
Yeah.
And can I take that chance?
Yeah. Well, and that's a good example, man. You talk about, going up to, a super pretty girl and being intimidated. But how much of life and how much of purpose and how much of the journey do you think being able to push ourselves past boundaries of comfort is? Because, going up to a girl that you think is not just a 10 out of 10, but like the sexiest girl you've ever seen in your life is, a good example.
Yeah.
But there's so many things like, are you pursuing that business? Do you want to go and it can just be like, make friends with some bro that you might think. It's recognizing people are people, doing anything that you could possibly imagine. There's so many things in everybody's mind where you're like, oh, if I felt like I could do that, I would want to do it.
Yep.
And so pushing yourself past those boundaries to the point where being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Boom. And that's the crux. Like, I think so much like destruction and just negative outcomes come from this very soft culture, it seems like we live in, where people are like, oh, you feel any anxiety, you feel any depression, you feel any discomfort,
take a pill,
we'll numb you out, you'll be good. And like, dude, that's not it. That's not it. The soul craves that adversity. It craves some challenge. And if we're just chilling watching Netflix and eating pizza, dude, like, yes, the way I see it, it's like the ego, actually, the separate self is like, oh, this is cozy. The soul is craving you to push yourself, to explore this life, to sink your teeth in it.
Totally.
And I think a part of us is dying. The soul is dying at this expense of comfort. And I think, again, what happens for a human being, because for me it was physical exercise, it was meditation, it was now the ultras, and it's just like pushing yourself in all of these domains. You do it enough and you get a flavor for the pain. Yeah. Where you start to, again, learn how to open to it and accept it, and that changes what it is. Where so much of our suffering associated with physical pain, mental pain, like emotional pain, is actually the resistance that we have to it. When I resist my pain, I'm amplifying my experience of suffering to it. You can just play that out in any experience in your life. Like, yes, for instance, the girlfriend broke up with me and that hurts. But we add something to that, which is the girlfriend broke up with me and that's not okay. And that means I'm not enough. And that's not okay. And then that's resistance. Yeah. And that's the thing. The more we resist, the more suffering we create.
Yeah. And I think being able to shift that into the girlfriend broke up with me, and because of that, now I'm getting the opportunity to do this. Yeah. Now I'm getting the opportunity to grow within myself. Yeah. Now I'm getting the opportunity to love myself even more. Totally. Now I'm getting the opportunity to date that girl that's twice as hot as my ex-girlfriend. Yeah. Like, it's that goes back to those dark moments. Yeah. And being able to find the gratitude for them. Yes. And recognize them as the best things that happen to you.
Totally.
I'm not most grateful for my wins.
Yeah.
I am most grateful for the things that caused me the most pain because they propelled me into what was next, which was way more awesome even than where I was at then. And I think you get to this point in life where I feel this from you, man, and I can speak this from myself. This is so true. I'm having so much fun every day. Every day of my life, man, I wake up hyped. You know, I wake up, I'm like,
the way.
Yo, like, what are we going to do today? How can I get other people as excited as I am? Yeah. And it just makes me think, like, I know I'm going to more than likely, I mean, I would imagine I'm going to have hard things that happen in my life. You know, I'll experience things that seem painful, but nothing that really can happen. And I think there's this practice almost too, and I think this might even come from Buddhism. So tell me if it does. But there's this practice of like imagining and envisioning and visualizing the worst possible case scenario. Like a good example for me is I remember several years ago, I was meditating and I'd had this experience where my daughter had fallen down the stairs and it was like, I was like, whoa, like, you know, I'm glad she was okay. Like, you know, nothing
in
was
real
wrong.
life or in the,
in real life, in real life. But then in the meditation, I was visualizing, this vision came to me of my daughter coming up to me with a broken arm and her arm was just like completely like folded over. And so at first you're like, whoa, like, you know, that's horrible. But then it was like, okay, if that were to happen, it's all right.
Yes.
You know, she's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Thankfully that never happened. It wasn't, her arm never broke.
Right.
But I think, you know, that's just one example of something I can think of from my own life through a meditation that I was having.
Yeah.
But if we can do that, like, what's the worst case scenario?
Right.
What's the worst thing you can think of? And then sit with that.
Yeah,
because we don't necessarily have to actually have it happen to us. Like, it doesn't have to be real.
Yeah.
We just have to be able to experience it really in our mind.
Yeah.
And when you can get to that point where, wow, I've experienced the worst things I could possibly imagine, and I'm still happy.
Dude.
In my core, I am still eager to continue to live my life and grow and be and experience. Yeah. Like, that is, talk about liberation, man. Like,
literally,
that is liberating.
You get it. I'm like, again, I didn't know Will before coming to this conversation. You're dialed, my man. I love your perspectives, and it's so true. I, in a recent podcast, said, can you say yes to anything in life? And the secret is, yes, you can say yes. Yeah. But like, can you say yes to the worst possible things that could happen? Like, again, you look at the news today. What if the robots take over? What if China invades? What if the bombs start falling and cities are leveled? Yeah. The question is, can you say yes? Yeah. Can I say yes to getting rejected by a smoking hot girl? Can I say yes to failing in my career temporarily? Because what is failure at a certain level?
More than a stepping stone to success.
Yeah. And when you can visualize all of those worst case scenarios and say yes, again, so what's going on there is the resistance is being drained out of that experience, and you recognize, oh, it's dead ass not that bad. Yeah. When I'm not resisting it.
It's okay. I'm just here. I'm just here watching this happen inside my meat suit avatar.
Right.
I'm just observing these things happening around me. That's interesting.
Exactly.
To be able to see everything is just interesting. Yeah. It's not necessarily good or bad. And it's that experience is
and sometimes, and again, like you said, it's not necessarily good or bad. It might be painful. Yeah. Like if the bombs start falling or China, there's like 100 battleships off the coast of California, like that would probably be pretty scary and pretty painful. Yeah. But when I can say yes, see how that shifts your experience. Yeah. Okay, here it is. Can I say yes to my own death? Yeah. If I have to die tomorrow, can I say yes? Yeah. And that's the thing. If I can, it's not that bad. And that's the thing. It's what we're experiencing. A lot of our suffering is our own resistance. Yeah. It's our own mental relationship to life. It's not life itself. Totally. It's the fact that I wish it was some other way. Yeah. And you spoke to something earlier as well that I wanted to touch on too, which is that, you know, looking at the darkness, we tend to focus on like the bad things. Like, okay, the breakup with the girlfriend's a great example. I focus on, I'll never be with her again. She might have been the one. What do I do? And it's like we fixate on the negative, but we can actually just do a little practice in our mind of like, what are the positives here? Yeah. It's like, oh, now I'm going to have so much more money when I'm not spending it on her. I'm gonna have so much more free time. Wait, now I'm gonna be able to talk to that one girl I've had a crush on at the gym for so long. It's like, wait, okay, so let's And for me, it's understanding the metaphor that I use that Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh would use is that actually our mind, our awareness is like a watering pail. And we all have the seeds of lack, the seeds of pain, of darkness, of confusion in us, and we have the seeds of connection, of love, of acceptance in us, and your awareness is always watering one of these seeds. So just notice at any point, where is my mind right now? Am I focusing on the lack? Am I focusing on I'm not enough, I'm a failure? Because if you're doing that, you're actually watering that seed, and what happens is it becomes a bigger part of your experience. It takes up more space in your mind. It's like a tree that's growing. And if I can just consciously be aware of where is my mind, and do I want this seed to grow? What if I shifted my awareness to all of the beautiful things? Again, this is where gratitude practice can be so transformative, even though it's kind of cliche and cringy sometimes in spiritual circles. Like it's really powerful, and there's a reason it's so powerful. And focusing on love. Look, can you love yourself? Can you love this? Does God love you? Do you love creation? What about the people in your life? What about the fact you have a roof over your head? If you notice it and spend time with that, and you're like, damn, that's actually pretty nice, that grows into a bigger part of your life. So again, we all have the seeds of, contentedness and discontentedness, for instance, within us at all times. And where is my mind? Knowing that I'm watering that seed.
Well, I think it's like the art of the Tao, right? There's that example, or I guess maybe not an example, the analogy of, a ball on a pendulum. And you can think of both sides of the pendulum. Like one is all these positive thoughts and all these things of this is great. I'm in love. I'm in happiness. Everything is wonderful. I'm in gratitude. And there's this side of I'm depressed. I hate things. I don't like myself. I don't like my situation. When the ball gets pulled to one side or the other too far, it puts us off balance. And so we think about this with our thoughts. So And it's good practice when you start to have these negative thoughts, you start to think these bad things, you try to swing the ball over here and replace them with these positive thoughts. But also at the end of the day, if you're spending all this time holding the ball up here into this place of positivity, it's too easy for the ball to swing back to the other side. And you get this sort of effect of the ball swinging back and forth. When in reality, we want to be right in the middle. And we want to be able to look at all of our thoughts, not just the negative ones, man, because it's easy to pick on the negative thoughts. It's easy to be like, oh, those dang negative thoughts. But the positive thoughts too, we are the witness of them. We are the one that sits way back here somewhere who is watching and experiencing the positive or the negative or the positive. And we are nothing more than the observer. We're not the positive either. We're not the negative. Nothing. Like we are literally just watching them.
Exactly. And thank you for saying that. Because I think in the West, especially, just in life, it's easy to get addicted to the pleasant things.
100%.
It's just
especially in the spiritual community. Like we live here in Boulder, man. And we're in the mecca of spiritual community.
Exactly. I love the air quotes. No, for sure. I like to talk trash in spiritual community. It's fun and games, but also it's rooted in some kind of truth. But at the same time, I think you're so right. Like for me, when we identify with our thoughts, when we say, oh, just because these are the thoughts, the words, the stories in my mind, that means they're true. That's when shit goes awry. And we can, again, take that distance from our mind and start observing it and say, oh, the mind is saying some really hurtful things about me today. Or the mind is saying, I'm the shit. It's like, it doesn't matter from that point of view of the witness. And that's where the mind and what it has to say about you, about life, oh, life is meaningless, or oh, life is beautiful, it doesn't have the same impact. You've gotten enough space from it where those daggers can't pierce you because it's not you. It's your mind. It's the mind speaking. And it's like we don't actually have to identify with it. That's actually an extra addition that we add on to the experience. Is, oh, my mind is speaking, or the mind is speaking, and what it's saying is true. And I'm not questioning it. And this is who I am objectively. And we're actually labeling it like that and creating the story. And it is a story where my mind is really real and true. And Buddhism would say, why do we make that assumption? Who told you that your thoughts are actually real? Where did you learn that? Just because everyone else believes it, does that make it true?
Well, I think that's so often where people get stuck, because I think a lot of people can get to the point where we're not our bodies. Like that's kind of step one.
Yeah.
We're not our bodies. We're not this flesh. This is just like the vehicle that I'm stepping into, like when I drive my truck here.
Yeah.
But then the next layer to that is then people get stuck in their mind and they think I am my thoughts.
Right.
And rather than recognizing, nope, just as much as you are not your body, you are not your thoughts.
Yeah.
And then what level do we go back to next?
Totally.
Okay, now I'm the conscious observer of my thoughts.
Totally.
But are you really even the conscious?
Dude, you're killing it right now. I love it, bro.
Or are you somewhere even deeper?
Right.
And, I think that's what's interesting. We talk about, earlier the idea of psychedelics got brought up.
Yeah.
So I think that these journeys that we can go on through plant medicines are so impactful. Whether we're doing mushrooms, ayahuasca, I know people that went on journeys just from smoking a joint.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But the thing that plant medicines do is they bring us back so far. And then, like you said, you drop back in. But the idea is, can it show you who you really are outside of even your beliefs? Because I think that's where that's the next layer.
Yeah.
It's your body, your thoughts, then your beliefs.
Yeah.
Because you think you are your beliefs. Yeah. I believe this.
Yeah.
And that's where even like a lot of ascended people get stuck.
Yeah.
Because they're like, okay, I believe this and it has to be true because I believe it. And anybody that wants to question this belief, well, then they're wrong.
Yeah.
And maybe the belief even is true.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Right.
But at the same time, when you are attached to your beliefs, you cannot be the person that truly believes anything.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it is just something that you have latched onto as part of your identity.
Exactly. Identified with and actually solidified, where this belief is objectively real.
Yeah.
And I want to point to this notion in Buddhism. The Pali word is anatta, and it translates as basically no self. No findable self. So the more, and this is the path of inquiry in Eastern traditions, where the more that we look for this thing that I am, is it Ben? Am I a human being? Am I success, failure, whatever? You actually won't find it. Because what does that mean? What is Ben? Is it the character? Is it the body? Is it the mind? Is it the combination of all of them?
You're not your name.
Right. Like it's just a name. And what we're actually approaching is the experience of void.
Yeah.
And that's what's so hard for the normal conditioned human mind to wrap its brain around. It's actually very similar to this concept of zero, which in my mind is very similar to the concept of infinity, where nothingness and everything that could ever be and beyond that are actually sort of the same thing.
It's the idea of the quantum.
Right. And so it's like, if people are like, if I'm not Ben, then who am I? And it's like, that's a great question. Sit with that. And it's like, when you can sit with that not knowing, and the term I use is actually let the eyes adjust. Where a lot of people, when we're identifying with this ego, this separate self, let's just say emptiness and the void is terrifying. Because it means it's the death of this ego right here. Then I have to be void as well. But what actually occurs, which is so transformative and what changed my life, is if you sit in that long enough, you recognize I don't need to be real. And the world doesn't need to be objectively real either for me to really have an amazing time. And that's where the liberation is I know I'm, in a sense, everything and nothing. And at another dimension, I'm just Ben.
Yeah.
And I can start to try on these different masks. And that's what they are. They're views. We are ultimately left with, when we do have this experience of emptiness and the void, that all we're left with is different ways of seeing. Different ways of seeing ourselves, different ways of seeing the world. Ultimately, none of which could ever be more true. Because you see, they're all just views. So I can see myself as Ben the human. I can see myself as an angel incarnate. I can see myself as everything and nothing. These are all just views we can pick up and put down that create different experiences. And this is like sort of the infinite game, where enlightenment from one Buddhist perspective is, letting go of all of these solid views. So then you're in the void and you're like, well, now what? And then there's the more creative, positive component of emptiness, which is, I can be anything and have it be equally as real and as anything else. And I can live that. Because again, our stories are not just in our minds. They're projected onto the world that we walk through. And we think, this is just how things are, forgetting we made this story in our mind.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. What's the limit to how beautiful we can make this? And that's my question. Yeah. And what I say is, I think we can construct heaven on earth from understanding the coding of experience
100%.
and make it from the inside out by
Yeah.
feeding certain stories, narratives, beliefs, assumptions that invoke more of the beautiful qualities of heart and mind,
Yeah.
more deep experiences of meaningfulness, of transcendence, of connection to God and universal love.
Yeah.
It's built on a story.
Totally.
And like, can we recognize that in order to get that agency, for me to get the reins over our lives again and crack those fucking whips
Yeah.
and again, start to create heaven on earth from the inside out.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like what Jesus said. Jesus said, the kingdom of God lives within you.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, above all else, love God and love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
Those were the greatest commandments those were the greatest teachings of Jesus, and I think so often the ideas of Christianity are somewhat twisted.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can just focus on what Jesus was trying to teach us,
right.
He was trying to teach those exact principles that we're discussing.
Yeah.
He was trying to teach that from within is where all the answers lie.
Yeah.
From within is where we can find that place of true salvation.
Yeah.
It's not about beliefs.
Yeah.
It's about being.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a podcast the other day. I was talking about, even some of because there's a lot of Bible verses that get twisted. And unless you're really reading things, which I can't read Hebrew, but
right.
unless you're really reading things in source text, it's so hard to, really understand what the meaning was.
Mm.
And so like when the Bible talks about, it says, when Jesus said, I'm the way and the truth of the light, no one comes to the Father except through me, how that's really interpreted and was really meant was believe on me, like follow me, follow my way, follow my teaching. Like no one can come to salvation other than finding that within. It's that divine connection that we have.
Yeah.
It's not believe a certain thing, believe in me, the man, believe in this. It is find that divinity, and we all have it inside of us.
Yeah.
We all have that connection. There is no gatekeeper.
Yeah.
There's no gatekeeper to salvation of ourselves.
Yeah.
There's no one stopping us. There's no one that is responsible for that other than us. And only we can do it for us.
Dude, it's so trippy too, because you see this across like religious traditions all over the place. Like in Hinduism, everyone's looking for a guru.
Right.
Because they don't believe. There's like, it's no way it could actually be in me. There's no way. And it reminds me of this Tibetan teacher, Chogyam Trungpa. He has a quote that says, enlightenment is actually the final great disappointment. Where it's like, actually, when you realize, wait, I've been there the whole time. I've been in it the whole time. It's like, it's the last great disappointment in a sense. And I would say it's not quite a disappointment. Because things really change. Yeah. Where you come to this radical acceptance, this light starts to come out of you and you start to trust it. And it's like, again, it seems so interesting. It's like this disbelief. It's like, there's no way I could be that. There's no way. I'm just little me. And it's like, can we start to, again, maybe merge those perceived dualities of the sacred and the profane, of little me and big me? You know what I mean? In Hinduism, they have the Atman and the Paramatman, which is, the Atman is the separate self, you could say. And that's definitely me at one level. And then can we have the Param Atman, which is the universal self, Ram, and, the Hindu faith. And it's, can we hold both? Because how can you be both? And that's the thing. It's like the logical mind says, I'm either little or I'm big. I'm either everything or I'm just me. Or the world is real or it's a dream. Right. And the logical mind wants to say it's one way or the other. Right. And actually Buddhism would say that's the trap. Yeah. It can actually be both and neither. It depends on what view you're going to pick up and put down. Recognize that it's a view and that we can have the flexibility of mind to not cling to this view versus that view. Right. That's where the freedom is, to have that malleability of mind. Like, sometimes I'm living quite literally in a dream. When I see, 4 4 4 5 5 5 3 3 3, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, literally, I'm like, what's going on? And there's weird synchronicities where it's like, I'm listening to a song and there's a verse and I see it on a truck next to me and I'm like, wait, what's going on right now? Yeah. So again, sometimes I am living in a dream, but then sometimes I'm just living in the world and it's real. And can I hold both of those things, even though the logical mind says, which one is it? Both. Yeah. That's where the freedom is. Yeah. It's everything, man. It's not one or the other. It's the greatest paradox of all. The microcosm is the macrocosm. Like it is this,
tetrahedral loop
right,
of geometry or whatever, however you want to describe it, and sometimes these things can be hard to put into words.
Yeah.
Like when you really get, and that's why, we're here, we're having a conversation, we're talking about it, but there's some things you can only experience.
Yes.
There's some things that you cannot describe.
Yeah.
You can do your best, but words are nothing more than a representation of truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, words are nothing more than a representation of an idea.
Totally.
Because obviously words can be used to tell things that are not true.
Right.
But there's some things in life that are so deep and so meaningful and so impactful that the only way that you can ever have any type of understanding of it is to experience it firsthand.
Totally. And that's what's so interesting to me is those deep experiences of meaningfulness for me, like when I'm literally in the mountains by myself, like sobbing tears of joy, like talking to creation and having it talk back to me.
Yeah.
Like understanding from the Buddhist lens that is not, you don't just stumble upon that. Even though some people think you do, it's actually a co-creation. What is the conceptual framework that is, in a sense, the fertile soil that you are feeding that allows for that experience to take place? It's a certain worldview where if I'm reducing reality to this materialistic lens, that experience is not possible. Because, when the wind hits my face, it's just the wind versus the wind hitting my face and having it be spirits speaking to me. It's a certain conceptual framework. And again, when we hold certain conceptual frameworks, they open up certain doors and they also close certain doors. And recognizing the pros and cons of having those frameworks and recognizing I'm building it. But when I build a world where there's spirits, where God is around, God has the opportunity to speak to me, to fill me with joy, to fill me with love, to fill me with strength. But again, we need to recognize that we are co-creating that. We don't just stumble upon it. So for me, the experiences in life that make it worth living after going through that crazy crippling depression are experiences of deep beauty, meaningfulness, transcendence, connection, wonder, love, all of these things, and recognizing those are co-creations. Oh shit. So how can we understand the mind in a way that starts to invoke more of those experiences instead of living in this world that the words I use, it's sort of been reduced to a reductionist experience of the world. We're trying to fit reality in this little mold. Usually it's scientific materialism where matter is real and science is objectively fact. Once science proves something, then it's real.
The religion of science.
Literally. So, and just recognizing these are the waters we're swimming in. It doesn't make it objectively real. It's just the story that we're believing. And specifically, it's the story that we're believing, the view we're picking up. And we're forgetting that it's a story. Or we're adding on to this story. This is a story that's actually not a story. It's actually real. And it's still actually a story that we're just saying is not a story. That's what we're forgetting. So again, we're stepping into this place of emptiness, of void. But the void is not empty in the way that we actually think. The void is actually pregnant with the infinite. There's infinite potential that we're to tap into it. Infinite potential for expression, to play with narrative. Who am I? What is this world? When we're tapped into that void, you can be literally anything and have it be equally as valid as anything else. So it's then using, for me, the practice is then using the body as a compass and being like, how does it feel when I try on this narrative? Again, it invokes deep meaningfulness and resonance and connection. Trust that. If your worldview is invoking fear, separation, hate, violence, it just hurts in your body. Don't that's your body saying, hey, can we try a different view on? Because this kind of hurts. And that's the thing. Use the body as a compass. It's going to take us, in my mind, the words I use, to your highest timeline, to your highest experience of heaven on earth. And for me, I also keep saying heaven on earth gets better and better every day. Because you know what I mean? The more we open to it, the more we start to explore it and trust it, the more it opens to us, actually. Which is,
Well, and I think these type of conversations is what makes me so bullish on mankind. For lack of a better way to put it, or maybe that's the best way to put it.
I love it. You have to be.
It's people inherently are all ready to wake up to this. We're all ready to be this. We're all ready to be our best selves. We all have things that we have to go through, that we have to experience, that we have to have the villains or be the villains or whatever. But we're all ready to wake up to this idea of heaven on earth and just be in love with existence itself. Because what a gift it is just to wake up in the morning and breathe. Regardless of, no matter what you're going through, no matter what has happened to you, what a beautiful thing that we get to wake up and have another day. And yeah, that can be easy to say from our cushy house in Colorado and
Right.
our super bougie organic foods and like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, we have it really good, but at the end of the day, regardless of how you have it, to be able to take one more breath is a blessing.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity. It's an
Mhm.
opportunity to transform
Yeah.
anything that you're experiencing into something that is beautiful and that does propel you and it does give you enlightenment.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I feel like we could sit here and chat all day, brother.
all
We're going
day,
to turn this into a 5-hour podcast.
Yeah, my man. We should definitely do it again.
This is fun, man.
You live in Boulder?
Yeah. Well,
okay, cool.
I live up in Evergreen. So
okay, sick.
I'm not too far.
Whenever you're down again, I would love to have you on my podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Because these are great conversations.
Yeah.
And I want to also say, again, this comes back to this notion of like, hell and heaven. It's like, it doesn't matter on the context specifically, like externally.
Yeah.
It's what's going on in your heart and mind.
Yeah.
What's going on in your heart and mind. And it reminds me of when I was in India before I was on lockdown. I was just walking around the town of Rishikesh, and if anyone's ever been to India, it is radically different than the United States. Poverty on a much different, much more open level, where people are just butt naked, like starving to death, walking around.
Wow.
So pretty dramatic. There's bodies being burned in the streets. Let's put it like that. And I remember there's this old man, completely blind, cataracts. He would sit on the same stoop for the like 3 or 4 days I was in Rishikesh before I was at the ashram, and he would just sit there and chant Ram. He's not asking for money. Yeah. He's chanting Ram. He's being in devotion to God his entire waking life at this point.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, again, poverty in India is different. So it's like these people have very little. And what are they doing? They're still living in devotion to something bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, where is heaven? Where do I find it?
And what a great example. Because if someone like that can be in devotion to divine, how can you complain about anything?
Right. That's what I saw. I was like, because I was still hella depressed, and I'm like trying to find this freedom from suffering. And I saw people like that, and I would like legit feel bad. I mean, I was also depressed, but I was like, dude, what am I like? I'm just like complaining, bro. Like, look at these people. Like, it's all relative, and we forget that. And like, yes, can we always have better lives? Can we always have more and more love, connection, more security? Sure, yeah, whatever you want. But also, again, where is our attention?
Yeah.
Is it on what we do have? Like, look at this miracle that we're living in.
Right.
Can I actually fixate my attention on that and stay with that for a little bit? And this is what meditation has helped me with, is to actually stay with that. Because then, the monkey mind comes back, and I go back to all the shit I don't have and everything I got to do today, and then bring it back. This is a miracle you're in.
Yeah.
And what happens in the being when we actually just spend time with that?
Yeah.
It really dramatically changes things. It's like a incubation period where something really, again, gets alchemized and transformed in the being when you just recognize that.
Yeah.
And it's just, what I want to preach is like, these are all practices. It doesn't just happen. We can cultivate the mind like we cultivate our bodies. You know what I mean? There's no difference. It's just like, it's just a different, again, we're focused inwards instead of outwards. You don't look in the mirror in the same way. You know what I mean? So,
well, there's that parable of the guru who that guy was, the story goes, this man went to a guru and he says, Master, how many hours a day do I need to meditate to reach enlightenment? And how long will it take me? So the master says, meditate for an hour a day, and it's going to take you 5 years.
Yeah.
And the guy comes back a couple weeks later and he's like, this isn't fast enough for me. What if I meditate for 5 hours a day? Like, how long will it take me? And the master says, 10 years.
Oh, no. That's hilarious.
And the guy's like, how is that possible that if I meditate more, it's going to take me longer? And it's because it's not about how long you do something. It's not about any of that. It is, what are you getting from it?
Yes.
And it makes me think of the concept of the overnight success. It took 7 years to get to the overnight success.
Right.
It might happen in an instant. Things do. Things shift. Things shift in a microsecond.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you weren't working on it for 7 years to get to that moment. Yeah. You've been working on it that entire time.
Yeah. And
in some type of, the idea of the quantum, time is just reality folded over on itself. There's nothing that exists other than this moment right now. Everything, the past and the future, they all exist at the same time in this infinite loop. Time is nothing more than a human construct that we use in order to know what time it is of the day so we can
Right.
meet each other
It's
for a meeting.
functional. Right.
Yeah, it's something that we have to understand in order to function through
Yeah.
life. But time doesn't exist that way.
Yeah.
And so to understand that, to know that we can heal in a moment, and that can heal things from our past.
Yes.
That can heal things from our future that haven't even happened yet.
Yeah.
And that's to me what it really means to cultivate heaven on earth.
Yeah.
When you
So
get to
good.
that point where it all just is.
So good.
I'm just existing in this.
And-
And I love it all.
And that's the thing. It reminds me, there's a quote I heard where someone said, it's never too late to have a good childhood. Which it doesn't make sense for a second. And then you're like, wait,
That's
what do they
good.
mean?
I like
Where
that.
you can literally change the past. People are like, wait, no, I can't change the past. What happened. It's like your story, your narrative,
Yeah.
your interpretation of what happened and the implications of that are completely fluid. If you say so, you have to say so first.
Mhm.
Say, oh, wait, maybe there's a different way of seeing that. Maybe my dad wasn't just a piece of shit, but maybe he was dealing with his own trauma and maybe it actually was necessary to make me the man I am today.
Yes.
And like, that's a different story where, again, it's never too late to have a good childhood.
Yeah.
And then what about this thing called death
Mhm.
that we all know we have to experience? It's a part of life. It's a part of this place.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's our story about that? What's our story about? Is this the end? Do I go to heaven? Do I go to hell? Well, just asking the question, what is my story?
Yeah.
And again, recognizing from the Buddhist lens, maybe it's all empty. And at that point, what's the outcome? If I hold this very scary narrative about death, how does that affect me here in the present? How does this trauma-laden narrative of my past affect me here in the present?
Yeah.
And can I start to work with these, again, conceptual,
Polarities.
imaginary experiences?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that I'm free from death. I'm free from the trauma in the past. And all of a sudden, where are we then? You know what I
We're
mean?
just here.
Heaven on earth keeps getting better and better every day.
I love it, man. That's a great saying. I'm gonna
You
steal
should-
that from you.
Please
Yeah.
do. Please
Heaven
do.
on earth gets better every day.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
feel that in my core.
Yeah.
So
Same.
yeah. Well, yeah, brother. This was awesome, man.
Dude, you're great.
If we don't wrap up, we're gonna be here for another 3 hours.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll have more episodes.
Yeah.
This is the first.
So yeah, this is fun.
Will,
This is
you're
awesome.
great. Yeah, this was a really fun one.
Ben, it was great talking to you,
Yeah,
brother.
likewise.
Great to
man.
meet you, man.
Yeah, you too.
I'm Will Carr, and I'm here to fire you up.